welcome to a new episode of the Let's Ruin It podcast, where we take your favorite pop culture media, put a legal spin on it, and like all lawyers, we ruin it. Welcome. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Jenny. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Diana.
And I am Liz.
And I am wearing cerulean blue.
Why are you wearing cerulean blue?
That can only mean one thing. And if you are a true fan of the film genre of films, then you're going to know that today we are doing...
The icon of the fashion world
Yes.
is the subject of this episode.
Today we are doing The Devil Wears Prada.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun 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 is right. That usually is what plays when Anna Wintour walks into it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
iconic movie.
We love this movie.
We love this movie. We've got a sequel coming out
Very
20
soon.
years
20
years later.
And it's coming out like
May 1st.
May 1st, and
It really was what prompted us to wanna
finally
do
look
this
back at
one.
the original and
Yeah.
let's see if we can ruin it, and then hopefully come back and ruin the second one.
Let's
for you.
hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope there's something to ruin. Let's hope they're not going to ruin the first one with the second one.
What if the
Correct.
second one
Or
is
in the
completely legally
same-
sound?
In the
Ugh.
same exact way.
Everyone learned their lessons, please.
Well, they learned their lesson because they did not bring Nate back.
That's right, because as we were saying before we started recording, the true villain of this entire movie is Nate, the boyfriend, and we'll get into that, but he sucks. Okay. All right.
And her friends aren't.
Oh, and her
great
friends
either,
also.
But we'll
They
get
should
into
go.
it. We'll get into it. But we're going to talk about a lot of things today. But we should start talking about how the most unrealistic thing about The Devil Wears Prada isn't the fashion. It's the fact that nobody got sued in this movie.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
I mean, it gave us a lot of fodder to work with in terms
Right.
of workplace environment,
Oh, yeah.
harassment, hostile work environment, wage and hour violations. We had a laundry list. I
Right.
think the DOL would have a field day in this place. And quite frankly, HR is probably crying in a closet.
yeah, probably. I mean, and whether or not these claims, all of them would be successful or not, you know, I think there's going to be some
It's
debate on
Part of
on
what
that.
we're going to debate.
But would there be lawsuits? Absolutely. Today there would be, because today's workforce is a different workforce than it was 20 years ago.
110%.
And a lot of what we see in the movie, people don't really stand for anymore.
That's part of the reason why I'm really looking forward to the second movie, because I'm wondering, because that's more
they're gonna address
now
it.
and all the changes and what's going on, because I don't think they would tolerate that work
Right.
environment today.
Well, let's get right into it and talk about it. What sort of work environment are you referring to, Elizabeth?
Let's discuss the high pressure,
Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
backstabbing,
All the good stuff.
catty culture
Right.
that was
climbing
there.
the ladder, but climbing over other people
Other
to
people
climb
to
that ladder.
literally stepping on other people to make your way up, becoming a slave to your boss 24/7.
Looking a certain way at all times. Keep-
Correct.
you
And
know?
where a size 6 is fat, I'm going to just cry right now. But yeah, that was a pressure cooker. And we thought the law was bad, right, guys?
Right. No,
Wait, yes,
I mean-
but I mean, I think that it's...
at least with the law, you can dress however you want to dress, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, you don't have to be like fashionable. You just have to be
Oh,
professional.
sure,
You
sure.
don't have to
There's
be
a dress
wearing
code
You
in
don't have to be
law
wearing
firms.
Gucci. No one's
Yeah.
judging you for the
That's
labels.
true.
Sure.
It's just
That's
wear
true.
professional clothing.
That's true. However, I need to quote one of my dear friends who, at one of our common workplaces in the past, there was a policy about wearing certain types of shoes.
Oh, I know who
And
you're talking
said
about.
coworker was wearing these particular type of shoes, but they were a higher end, right? What was the?
They were
what was the
Tory
make-
Burch
Tory
flats.
Burch, that's right. And she was outraged because she was like, "These are Tory Burch," like as if
wasn't allowed
what
to
do
wear
you
flats?
mean
She wasn't
I
allowed
can't
to wear flats.
Wear
Did she have to
flats.
wear heels?
Yes, they told her she had
They
to wear
wanted
heels
us
in the
to
office.
wear a heel, some type of.
That's
heel.
ridiculous.
And I remember she was so angry, and she said, "But they're Tory Burch flats."
That was the best line I think I ever heard.
That is crazy. I had never encountered that.
Yeah,
Like, I would
yeah.
be like, no, I'm wearing my flats.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Quite frankly, I said the same thing. I'm like, no, I have bad ankles, so I will continue to wear my flats. Thank you
Please.
very much.
But honestly, yes, in terms of maybe not having to be as high-end fashion, that's basically the only difference, because otherwise there's a lot of similarities to being a lawyer and being in the legal field. I think like we've all worked for a Miranda, like the law is full of Mirandas.
110%.
Miranda Priestly is like every partner.
Every partner.
Every partner
Um,
who screamed at us and said that our work product sucked and that we should rewrite it. And where did you get your law degree from? Crayola U or something?
If you didn't cry in the bathroom as a first-year associate, at least once, you were doing it
Maybe
wrong.
not the bathroom, the car. I definitely
No, it was a
There were
bathroom.
tears.
The bathroom.
There were tears in the car on the way
On the
way
to
there.
and from.
I mean,
Then
even
you were
law
doing it
school,
wrong.
So many. I mean, even Paper Chase is a movie that like covers like just how intense law school is. That also you had a bunch of Miranda Priestleys as professors.
Okay.
You know,
You had a bunch of Miranda Priestleys in your study group.
in your study group.
Oh yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
gunners in your class.
The level of competition, and I think that's. I mean, so basically, I think our takeaway is that fashion equals law.
Yeah.
It's the same.
No, the misery of
The
it.
misery.
We identify a lot with this movie. We saw a lot of our own experiences.
Do you know that I couldn't watch The Paper Chase for a very long time?
It was triggering.
Was
It
it traumatic?
was triggering. It gave me so much anxiety that I couldn't properly
Jenny,
like,
we
sit
can
down and
rely
watch
on
it.
you for anxiety.
For anxiety.
We may have to do
When
that movie.
discussing movies.
Just in general.
It's not as bad as like any movie that has an animal in it. Then Jenny's out.
Right.
Oh, no.
She's out.
I'm out.
Nothing. No animals. But this movie, it's what we considered very problematic these days. That kind of, that kind of environment, that kind of behavior. We kind of knew it as the norm, and I think we were talking about this before we started recording. Is that it might be a generational thing that we were kind of brought up to be like, be deferential to authority at all costs.
Yeah.
Like you're not pushing back against it. Whatever is expressed as what's expected of you, that is what you're going to meet. And you're going to work the
Hopefully
hours.
try to exceed.
That's going to be the hours that they're going, whatever hours are telling you, oh, you're going to stay here and rewrite this. Okay, you're canceling your dinner plans because
Right.
you're going to do that.
Right.
And now I think that maybe the younger generations are more about like setting boundaries
And
and
work-life
pushing back against
balance.
that.
and
I
all
mean, to
that
be honest,
stuff.
when we watched this movie in 2006, so I was a senior in college.
Okay.
I was just about to go into law school.
I was a lawyer already.
You were already a lawyer,
I
but
just started law
even in
school.
college, I remember not being so overly
I wasn't offended. I was offended by her boyfriend and her friends. I was like, she is just doing what her career expects
That
of
is
her.
110% what I said last night. And I just said to you guys before, I was less offended watching it again now
Yeah.
than I think I was the first time.
don't think I was
I
offended
might have, I
either
don't know about
time.
offended, but I think I was kind of like, ooh, that's rough. Like, that's bad. I actually was also more coming down on the attitude.
The friends.
No,
who?
now. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
then. Back then, I think I was more about the attitude within the workplace and how they looked down on her because she wasn't dressed
She wasn't wearing the
well.
Chanel
She
boots.
wasn't wearing the name
See, I feel
brands
like, I don't know what it
and
says
that
in-
stuff. That
I
upset
was like-
me.
I was fine with it back
It
then. I was
upset me
like,
that they
maybe
were-
you should dress better if you're going to go work at Runway magazine.
I mean, I guess, but she didn't give two shits about Runway. quite
Right. Well, then
frankly,
maybe don't
you
get a
know,
job
but-
here. Don't get a job here if you don't care about it.
I mean, this goes far away from the legality of it
Mm-hmm.
all, but she's clearly very much using this job as a stepping stone.
She
And
is,
that's fine.
But
That's
everybody
absolute-
knows that.
That's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
her right. But I do think that there's something to be said about you're coming into these people's workplace and this people's environment. The least you can do is have some respect for what they do.
You know what? And
That's
I
all.
will say that there's a tidbit that has been said over the years, and I think it's still true. People will always say, dress for the job that you want. And I think that's 100% true in this particular case. You know, any interview that you go on, you try to research who you're interviewing ahead of time, know the people. She didn't even know who Miranda Priestly was when she went in for the interview.
She didn't know who she
That
was.
was poor planning on her
But she
part.
also thought that she was so much better than thou, you know?
Yes.
That I'm not into all of this silly fashion,
Right.
which is where we get this brilliant cerulean blue sweater speech, right?
Right. It's like an iconic monologue from a movie, right?
Absolutely, where you're not better than us. You picked out this random blue sweater from the closet, but in
You're
fact,
not exempt.
you're not exempt. The fact that you specifically got this on the discount rack wherever.
Right.
A casual corner, which
Right.
nobody even remembers what casual corner is anymore.
Two years ago, Oscar de la Renta decided that cerulean blue was going to be the color that
Right.
you pick.
Right.
So there's something to be said about the fact that, yeah, we understand this is a stepping stone for you, but still respect these
Right.
people's jobs, and this is their livelihood,
And I
this
think
is
that's
what's
what
important
I was
to them.
offended by that even 20 years ago. Like watching this, I remember already thinking, like, stop like poo-pooing on what they do. Like you walk in with your like on a high horse, like you're better than them. Like get in line. Like you wanted this job. Like don't look down on them. Don't like roll your eyes and scoff at this. Like I thought she was so inappropriate in the beginning of her time there before like she kind of got with the program.
Yes, yeah.
That I was more offended by her behavior than I was by Miranda Priestly's. 'Cause
Well,
it's like,
and
this
the
is
ship-
how she runs her ship, and
Yeah.
she's successful.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how Miranda runs her
Yes.
ship. Obviously, Miranda is based on, I don't know if you want to say loosely based on Anna Wintour and how Anna Wintour ran her ship at Vogue before she retired just very recently. But Anna Wintour had a very sort of reputation exactly like this, where she was
demanding.
fierce,
Just
she was
demanding.
demanding.
Authoritative,
Exacting.
yes.
Yes.
Had a lot of pull.
Yes. And they
Very
never
powerful and still is.
Very
yes.
powerful.
she in the beginning when this movie came out never acknowledged. Everyone was like, oh, of course it's Anna Wintour, obviously, but Anna Wintour
She's
never
distanced
commented
herself
it. She
from it.
distanced herself, and there was a rumor for a long time that she was pissed about it, and she actually, again, allegedly banned Meryl Streep from coming to the Met Gala.
So wrong.
Only
How dare she.
now, with the resurgence of it all, only now has she started to lean
accept
into it. And she presented with Anne Hathaway at the Oscars, and she called
was
her Emily.
Yeah, and she was very dismissive. She was like looking everywhere else, like she was bored. She's leaning into
she
it.
fully
did,
played into it.
She did like the video with
Meryl
Meryl Streep.
Yes.
But she's also not the editor anymore.
She's not, and
retired,
maybe
so
that's
maybe
why.
that's the difference.
Maybe
you
that's
know?
I think she's also just like maybe has more like of a humor about herself a little bit as time has
Yeah.
gone on
Yeah.
because she doesn't have to build.
I actually
something.
went on a deep dive about her last night because I
Go
was
ahead.
trying to see how many similarities. I mean, she's 77 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and she's still
Looks great.
a mega power player.
Listen, 20 years ago, she was at the top of her career.
Absolutely.
And so maybe she didn't want to be associated with something that was clearly so very negative. It was obviously a very negative portrayal of the industry
It was
and of
intended
her
to
as a
be.
boss.
But I don't know if that's accurate though.
What is?
If it
Or
was
is
as
not.
because we're sort of being a bit forgiving about it now. I don't know if it was as
But at
negative.
the time,
as,
when it first came out, like it was supposed to be kind of like this is awful because it was based on a book.
it was.
And
I
it
was going to ask
and it
you
was-
guys. Did you guys say read?
I read the
I
book
did-
before I
you
saw
did
the
read
movie.
book.
Actually,
Okay.
and it was written by someone who did
was
work-
an assistant.
Who
Yeah.
did work for.
Did it say how long she was her assistant? Like, did she make it the year or she left?
I can't. I
also?
remember thinking. I can't remember now.
I don't remember
I
the
read the book
details.
literally before the movie even came
Yeah,
out. Like, when
like,
the
I
movie was
know.
like coming out, I was like, oh, I love that book. So like, we're talking like 23 years ago. She was there for a while, and she chronicled like her time there and how like all the expectations on her. And so I think at the time it was like, oh, this could be portrayed as bad, but then it's such a beloved movie and has such a huge following that maybe it became easier for Anna Wintour to kind of get behind the whole thing. It's kind of, I mean, very different movie, but
Well, we
Showgirls.
also-
You know, it's like-
Showgirls.
So when it came out,
Wow, you went.
Wait,
you
what's
went
the
not
connection to
where I
Showgirls?
was expecting, right?
What's the Showgirls
first of all,
connection?
I love this movie. Second of all, Elizabeth Berkley, right from like
Oh,
Saved
yeah.
by the Bell,
One of
playing
the-
like Jessie
one of-
Spano, goes and plays
Greatest actress of our generation.
Nomi Malone in Showgirls,
And she was topless.
No, she's full frontal girl.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, it is. This movie, you should see it.
You didn't see Showgirls?
I did. I don't remember that
mean-
she was full frontal. Was she? I remember that she was wearing a lot of Versace.
The Versace.
Versace.
It's Versace. Yes, I love that. No, there's like a whole scene with like Kyle MacLachlan, lap dance. Go back. You got it. Yeah.
It's so funny though because they
And-
still say that when they were talking about Donatelli.
Oh, it's a
Donatella.
Versace.
And I wait, and I turned to my husband as we're watching this movie, and I go, "You know they're talking about Donatella Versace,
Versace.
right?"
I mean, I love saying it's a Versace, but like,
I know.
and so the movie did very poorly and was panned
Oh,
by critics and
big
whatnot.
time.
And so she, like, I think it was like a point of like, you know, she didn't want to be associated with it, and she was almost like ashamed for doing it and didn't want to talk about it. And then as time went on, it like gained a cult following,
Yeah.
and it's so beloved now as like a cult classic.
Yep.
That now she'll like go out to like, you know, do promotional events for it, or like, you know, kind of like reunion things
Yeah,
for
like a
it.
haha,
But I think-
whatever.
Now she's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
happy about it.
I think in this case, it's a little bit different, right?
There
Because
was no full frontal.
there was no full frontal
Yeah.
in this movie, for sure, huge difference.
Tiny difference.
But also, what I think the big difference is that Anna Wintour was still very much in it. She was still working.
She
and
was,
I think,
and she was part of the Vogue PR machine.
of course,
and you can't like.
they don't want this
tarnish
perception
the-
that
right.
working in Vogue is this like bad thing.
Right,
So
and
she
plus-
has to stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, look, she was the person in charge at Vogue, but she still had to deal with the publisher. The publisher had to approve her budget, her spending, her whatever. So she still had to work. And quite frankly, the portrayal in the movie, she was masterful
Right.
at knowing how to play her boss, play the industry, know how to read the signs.
Right.
She knew what was going on. Even at the end, when Andy thought she was doing her some big giant favor, Miranda knew what was going on the entire
whole time.
And had it all planned out.
The one thing that I really liked about it was that she didn't go and do a portrayal really of Anna Wintour, who might be known for being a bit louder and a bit more forceful in demanding what she wants. And, you know, Meryl Streep has said for 20 years, she's given interviews about this and has said that, like, she decided to make a different choice and she wasn't trying to really portray Anna Wintour. She was creating her own character, and that's why she went with like a quiet authority. She wanted to be like, it's almost a whisper. Like people have to, I remember her saying people have to like lean in to hear what you're saying. That brings more authority than tolerance.
When
But
you're
she
in
was
trouble
also
with
very dismissive.
Very dismissive.
And
she's bored.
Cutting.
She's just
like,
bored by
I have
people.
no time to waste on
She
you.
like
it
looks
was-
away from people and she's bored by them.
Miranda Priestly is not a yeller. When you're in trouble with Miranda, she doesn't yell at you.
No, she gives you a look like
but
you're
also,
a bug.
it's like you
almost.
said, she's very dismissive and that's all.
That's all.
Because it and that
done
cuts
with you.
even deeper because it's like the disappointment that you have, you know, basically.
That
Well,
you
isn't
disappointed your...
That's the scene that
Right.
set Andy off into a crying jag.
when
She talked about how disappointed she was that she couldn't get her back for her kid's concert, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
She called and was like, she spent the entire night trying to get her out of a hurricane.
And she said it's just a little rain.
It's a little, oh my
Yes.
God, I died laughing when I saw that in the background. I'm like, oh my God, that is so funny. It's a little
great.
trickle. She couldn't get her back on a flight. And Miranda cut her to the core
Yes.
with that. And she lost it.
Yes.
But then we have a really great moment where Nigel comes in and basically tells her, oh, boo-hoo, poor you. And that's kind of, I think, the mentality that we have from the work environment. It's like, boo-hoo, no one wants to hear you whine. You have a job that other people would kill to have.
Right.
Kill. to
Right.
have.
And that's why I think we weren't so offended by it.
I know.
Right? Because we were like, get your ass back in there. Get it together.
Put your game face on and get it done.
Right.
You
Get
know?
it. And granted,
Stop your
that's
whining
exactly,
and like
that's
you-
exactly
it's
what she
that
started to do
victimhood.
after that.
I'm going to be real Gen
Right.
X here. Like, you know, rub some dirt on it, shake it off, and get back in.
Right. And you don't like wallow in your victimhood. You're
it.
not like, yeah.
Well, okay. But
And here's the comment I'm going to make that Jenny hates. Today's generation's a bunch of pussies, and they can't handle the shit.
Yep.
I hate that word.
Hates that word. I'm going to go to HR.
We're gonna start
on
using
you.
other words too. Moist.
Oh, I was going to say, are you going to say moist?
Moist.
Oh, now you crossed
just
the line.
we just lost all of our listeners.
crossed
Oh
the
my
line. We just
God.
lost all of our
People and their words. No, but
See you next Tuesday.
there's a
Yeah.
You can't
generational
say
difference.
that.
There's
You
a-
could get a restraining order for that
I didn't
word.
say that. I said see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, she's going
She's gonna see me
going to
next
see you
Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Correct.
No, I think there's a generational difference. And
Yes.
yes, when we watch this movie, I see it as like just like
People like to
I'm
talk.
very Nigel.
People like to talk shit about millennials, but
Yeah.
we worked for Mirandas and we did this.
Whatever they told us to do, we did. And
We
whether
did
that's
it.
and you know, other people, other generations like, well, you did it wrong and you
Z.
shouldn't have been doing it like that. I know. Not to name any names.
Gen Z.
But you know, they might see it the other way and be like, well, that sucks for you. You guys should have stood up for yourselves. We
Right.
were taught that no, like the people in charge got to be in charge for a reason. They know more than I know. I come from like they know better.
But with all of that said, she did very much create a hostile work environment. Everyone was terrified of her.
I think the best scene was the opening scene where they're all
they're all scattering.
all hands on deck, and they call, she's on her way.
See-
What? She's early, and they're all freaking out.
But they're also all
Everyone's
scattering in opposite
scurrying.
directions.
Yeah.
I don't think that there'd be a viable claim for a hostile work environment. I don't think that you. I don't really think that would fly. I think it wasn't hostile enough. There was no.
It wasn't hostile enough.
Like it wasn't like
Diana
the
wants
verbal
to be
abuse.
beaten.
Cause no, it's like she's not verbally abusing people. She's just
Let me ask
she
you a
has
question.
high standards.
Were you not offended though that every morning that she walked in, she just threw her coat and
That's
and
not a
cursed
hostile
like
work
that?
environment. It
Like
doesn't
that?
matter.
That's not a hostile
That's
work
not a hostile.
I don't know. I'm
no, I
asking you
wouldn't.
guys. That's
I
not-
really. I don't think it's.
Can you try this when you come into the office?
Just throw my shit at people?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. First of all, it's governed by Title VII, right?
Tell
of
us
the
what
Civil
Title
Rights
VII
Act,
is.
and it prohibits workplace harassment that is so severe or pervasive, and based on protected characteristics, right? So like
So that's
race,
it.
religion, but It needs to be so severe.
but
That
if
is not
she's-
severe enough.
So I ask you, if she's an equal opportunity monster,
There's no
and
discrimination
is
there.
not discriminating against you because of your color, your religion, your whatever. Maybe the fatness. I don't know. Was
No,
that enough?
that's not a protected
what
class.
about the size?
It's not a
no,
protected class.
Your weight is not
it's
protected.
not protected.
Okay.
Constitutionally,
so the
it's
fact
not.
That, the fact
It
that
is
she called
religion, sex,
the fact
race.
that she called
You guys are
Andrea,
talking over each other. I can't hear anything.
Then you got to get better at it.
because she's calling Andrea the fat girl at a size 6.
No, hold on. Miranda doesn't call her the fat girl.
She did.
I think
I don't remember
Emily
that.
calls
Maybe
her
Emily
that.
did.
I don't think
Nigel,
Miranda.
And Nigel said something that
Nigel-
calls her size 6. That
Well,
I know.
right, Nigel
and that
just
you're not going to
nicknames
fit
her.
into the model sizes. I get that.
But also, Nigel literally just nicknames her 6.
I no, but I believe
Being a toxic boss is not illegal.
I believe in the dressing down that she gave Andrea that she cried
Andrea.
about. She made a comment about her size. It might have been fat, but she definitely
no,
made
she,
a comment
she doesn't
about
use
her
the word
size.
fat.
It just doesn't. It doesn't matter
And-
though,
oh,
because again,
Stanley Tucci refers to her as the fat girl.
yeah, but still, it's
Well,
not
and the
being
other
a
girls
toxic
too. You've
boss
got
is
Emily
not
and
illegal. That's all.
Serena. Who, by the way, I totally missed the fact that was
Giselle?
Giselle Bunchkin. I missed it.
Oh, really?
I did.
No, at the time
when
I
I
was
looked
like,
at the
wow.
cast, I went, "Oh my god, that was Giselle." I totally
That was
didn't,
Giselle.
didn't even.
I think
realize.
it might have even been Giselle.
Was that was
around pre-Tom? I think
Sure,
that
it
was like the
pre-Tom.
Leonardo DiCaprio phase of Giselle.
Oh,
Might have
they
been.
were together a while.
They were, but then
Yeah.
she became old. She
And
turned
she
25.
Went,
What can I tell
yeah,
you?
and she went with the goat.
But then she doesn't have the goat
Yeah.
anymore.
Now she's with the
The jujitsu master.
master, Brazilian, right? Anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Different phrases of life.
Is it toxic? Sure.
Yeah.
Toxic is not illegal. It's not legally a hostile work environment just because your boss is mean or insulting. They're not. You're not being discriminated against because you're targeted because you're part of a protected class. You're not. You're a woman or whatnot.
So I can scream at you and call you stupid
See, but I don't.
and fat, and that's fine.
But I don't think that you can.
You.
Oh well, hold on. Should we clarify? I think in 2026.
I mean, I'm looking for
Well,
pointers,
I'm talking
guys.
about specifically establishing a hostile work environment, not necessarily like that might be. I might say
If
that you
Liz
are
walked-
harassing me.
If Liz walked into her office every day and yelled at all of her employees and called them fat and lazy and stupid and said that their clothes were ugly, I'm pretty sure that your partner would be like, Liz, what the fuck?
That 110%.
Your partner might say
However,
what the fuck, but I'm not
She
saying
would.
that
No,
the
but do
government
they
would,
have-
or
right.
that like you would be that you wouldn't have. They
So
wouldn't
you
have
don't
necessarily
think-
have a strong enough claim for a hostile work environment. There's
what
a standard.
exactly? What exactly would be a hostile work
Severe or
environment then?
pervasive. One comment is enough. It has to be a pattern, but it has to be egregious. It has to like. It can't just be like. Oh,
This
she-
is egregious.
No, it's
They're
not.
all terrified of her.
That doesn't matter. That they're terrified.
But-
They're terrified because they might get they might get fired because they don't like meet her standards. But like, she's not like coming in and yelling at all of them like lose weight right now. Everybody stop eating. Like, she's
No,
not saying
I
these
think
things. She might have an attitude about herself that she's
It's
like.
a unwritten
Requirement.
attitude and policy, don't you think? Because Emily literally starves herself.
Yes.
And when she starts to faint, she eats a block of cheese.
That's right.
A cube of
A
cheese.
cube of cheese.
Okay. No, Miranda didn't tell her, but
It's the environment that is
it is
perpetuated.
created.
Maybe it's not created by Miranda, right? This was the fashion standard long
is.
before Miranda.
This
But
is just
Miranda
the entire
continues-
industry. Also,
It is.
Sure, but Miranda continues to perpetuate this in the work environment, right?
Because the sample sizes are size 2 and
Sure.
4. And even Nigel says that when the 4 became when a 4 became the 2
Yeah.
and the 2 is now the 0.
The 0, right.
Like that's
So,
the standard.
but again, I think that there is a huge difference between 2006 and 2026. I think in 2006, no one batted an eye at this, and everyone just
but I think
took
we're
it.
also talking about
there's
whether
a-
it's inappropriate or whether you would have a successful claim.
Claim. That's
And
true.
that's a difference.
That's
Well,
true.
That you're not meeting the standard.
I'm-
You can make an argument potentially that if only the women in the office are being held to a standard, maybe there's a sex discrimination
we
there.
don't see any men other than Nigel.
Right, but like let's say there are men, right?
And
Like,
there were
but
some. There
maybe
were photographers. There was a
maybe
couple of
they are
editors in the
also-
room when they were meeting.
Oh yes, that's
right,
true.
and so
yeah, you're
but
right.
maybe they also have the same pressures to look their best and whatnot.
I'm sure they
in
do.
that case, you don't have a protected class being targeted. It's not going to meet the standard for hostile work environment.
I find it hard to believe that if you're coming in and you're being called fat and stupid and lazy every single day, which again, Miranda is not doing. She's just strongly insinuating it.
Yes.
That there isn't some type of like employment claim. Certainly in 2026, I think there would be. And I'm actually very curious to hear what the sequel does with this.
Yes.
20 years later and how they address this.
Even if there is no law, in this day and age, someone would record it on their phone and
Absolutely.
she'd be fired in an hour.
Absolutely.
There would be a PR thing that would eventually pressure her to like
It's
step
the-
down or
it's
whatnot.
the law
Absolutely.
of public opinion.
Of course.
It's the cancel
Right.
culture.
And I actually
But I'm
think-
talking about whether a court
a court
I'm
of
talking
law.
about whether a
Yeah.
court of law would find that this is legally a hostile work
Right.
environment, and no, my
They-
answer is I don't think so.
So they actually, I think they are going to address something in the sequel because there's something in the trailer where Andy says something like, "I'm here to like rehab your image" or something to that effect. So I think
yeah, I'm sure
they
that
have
she has
to
a
address
bad,
this.
Like, yes,
And the trailer that I saw, she's still typically dismissive and goes, "And who are you?"
Yeah, right.
Like,
She doesn't
do
remember
I know
him.
you?
She doesn't remember
being
him.
dismissive again, that's not even anything.
No, being dismissive is not
You
illegal.
can fear
Yeah.
someone and think that they're like a really like scary boss, that they're toxic and whatnot, and it doesn't mean that there's any kind of legal ramification or that you have any claim. Just find a new job if you don't like your boss.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's an at-will employee. Also in the
Well, and that's the other interesting part. So
Yeah.
she is an at-will employee.
yes, but we don't actually know the terms of her contract. We
If
don't
there
know
is one.
If there is a contract, and we don't know whether she is like does she have standard 40-hour work week? Does she get paid per hour?
So I think that the wage and like
FLSA
that
is
part
definitely
is the part where
implicated.
if they're gonna have a successful claim at all, then that would be it. That's where I would say fine, you might have a claim
that
there.
she is working she's being
outside of the
overworked.
hours, she's overworked and not paid for the
indication, if
overtime
you
over.
listen to her boss, he says you get paid shit.
Yeah.
So let's assume she's not a highly compensated employee, because highly compensated employees can be exempt from the FLSA.
She's not highly compensated.
She's not.
No.
So
she's
let's
literally the
assume-
bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, let's assume she's the bottom of the rung, but the demands are essentially 24/7.
Oh yeah.
She can get a call, a text, whatever, at any time. She has to drop whatever she's doing on the weekend, on her home time. It doesn't matter. There is no line between
No.
work and
It's all work.
home.
Right.
So it's all at her beck and call. She's essentially on call 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was, I don't get the impression it was in a contract. I don't think it would have been in a contract.
Well,
but
I don't
it's
think-
an implied part of
It wasn't implied when she took the job.
no, but it quickly became an implied
because
part
literally
of
on
it.
her first day of work, Emily
Yeah,
calls her at 6:30 in the morning and says, "Get here now."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm still in bed. What are you talking about?"
right,
well,
right.
no, the plans have changed. You got to get up and you
Right.
got to get her now. And then she's sitting there until 10 o'clock waiting for the book, and she's picking up Miranda's
Right.
dry cleaning.
Right, she's working
Yeah.
all these hours, but like, okay, so, but it really centers on whether or not she qualifies for certain protections under the FLSA.
Right.
So like overtime pay, like which would be time and a half, for any employee that works over 40 hours a week is like, you know, it's what you are supposed to be, you know, given unless you qualify for a specific exemption, right?
Right.
And the test is to be exempt from overtime, an employee has to be paid on a salary basis above a minimum threshold and perform specific high-level duties that are like executive, administrative, professional. And if either of those prongs fails, then they're non-exempt and then they are required to be paid overtime. So we'd have to really apply that test to Andy specifically. We don't know her salary. I mean,
It doesn't
It's
sound like it was
minimal.
highly
she's entry
compensated.
level,
Yeah.
right? She's an assistant. So
she just graduated from college.
right. And so most likely she's paid very little and that helps her in this case because then there's like the duties test. And so to qualify for the administrative exemption, she needs to perform office / like non-manual work tied to business operations. The things that she does, gets coffee, picks up dry cleaning, tracks
Those are
down
all for
the management.
Miranda.
That's task as execution, right? Not decision making.
But also, hold on. When she's picking up the dry cleaning, when she's getting the coffee, when she's doing all of that, she is Miranda's personal assistant rather
Well,
than.
she is.
Right.
But hold on. But there is a difference between Miranda the person and Miranda editor in chief of Runway magazine. Right?
I don't think that's a distinction without a difference.
No.
She is Runway magazine.
Right.
And I don't think that they made
Doing those personal favors for that
Miranda.
person is allowing them to also do their job. So you're like, I think that the distinction is.
If you told
And
your
she's got
paralegal,
2 assistants.
if you told your paralegal to go pick up your
she's
dry
not my
cleaning-
assistant.
but that's
like she's not my,
paralegal is not an assistant.
no.
But she wasn't hired by Miranda self. She was hired by Runway to work for Miranda.
To be her assistant. When you were hired as a paralegal, you were hired to perform paralegal duties.
Right.
Okay.
When
but,
you were hired as an assistant,
but she's
that could-
hired as an assistant for Runway.
well, we don't know. We don't know what if she
is.
has a contract, and no, what was she told? We didn't see what she was told. Like, here's what we're hiring you for. These are
Emily
the duties are.
explains it to her in the beginning. When Emily brings her in, Emily says, I was second assistant, first assistant got promoted. I'm now first assistant. You're second assistant to Miranda, editor-in-chief of Runway.
Yeah.
She says something to that effect,
But she
right?
doesn't say that.
But when you're working for the magazine and not Miranda self, you should not be required to go get her dry
I don't know
cleaning.
what you're basing that on. She's being hired
They
as her
said
personal
you're-
assistant.
Yeah, you're Miranda's assistant.
So then
I'm
why is
hired
she
as
picking
a
up?
Runway junior intern.
Right.
But she is. Why is she picking up the phones for Runway then if she's Miranda's personal
You
assistant?
can
She's
do
not.
both.
She says Miranda Priestly's office.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Runway magazine.
She's not like at the main desk.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, but you're not going to say when you call another attorney's office.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get their you'll get the front desk,
Yeah.
right? And they'll say the firm name, so and so. How can I?
Then
direct
you
your
get
call?
transferred to the
And
assistant.
then you get transferred to the assistant, and the
And
assistant
they
picks up the
say,
phone, says Liz
Elizabeth
Calendur's
Calendur's
office,
office.
right?
Right.
But is that assistant going to go get your dry cleaning?
But that's not.
What-
She's not my assistant. She's my
Legal
legal assistant.
okay, and
Or my paralegal.
so are you?
I think you're not
suggesting to
aware
me-
that this is a very common job that really does include personal things
stuff.
for you are a personal assistant.
Which
to
is
someone.
funny that you say that because my partner and I talked at one time when we were dreaming about hiring a personal assistant for a certain number of hours each week
To help you
us on a
with that-
personal
yes.
level.
Yes.
Picking up dry cleaning, doing all this stuff.
Fine.
We talked about
But
that.
then it's Miranda who pays that personal assistance, not
not
Runway.
necessarily. I mean, it could have been my firm if we decided to do it that way.
Sure, but then you would be hiring them as an assistant of all things.
running errands for the boss, even if it's on a personal nature, like unless it's something that's like I don't know, harassing or like something like very
Which, by
private
the
and
way,
then-
it is
but
harassing
in
to a
general,
certain
like
extent.
getting coffee for them is that? Do you consider that to be outside of duties? Because where are you drawing the line? So dry cleaning's too much, but getting coffee for her
Well,
at the
I
coffee
mean, I'm
shop
not
is
sure
okay.
that I'm not sure that getting coffee is okay either. Again,
But that's what a personal assistant does, and you are hired by
But
Runway.
see, she's.
I'll do you one even better.
Go on.
Go to a movie set and you have a
Yeah.
production assistant who doesn't work for the actor. They have to go do whatever the actor asks them to do, whether it's go get cookies from Milk Bar across the street
You're right.
or
They run
they're dry
around.
cleaning from
Yeah.
the next state over.
Yeah,
Why?
because that's
It's
their
the
job.
industry.
Those are the duties of that job.
I just I understand when Kris Jenner hires an assistant. Kris Jenner's assistant will be the assistant of all things. But to me, the distinction for me is that it is not.
Kris Jenner doesn't work for a company. Kris
That's
Jenner
right. Kris Jenner does it. That's
But
exactly
when someone
it.
works for a company, this is a job that exists at companies with these kind of duties.
I've
Do
actually
you think
seen-
Jeff Bezos picks up his own dry cleaning
Absolutely not. Jeff Bezos has an assistant for it.
and Amazon pays for that assistant?
Yeah.
Of course, I understand, but Amazon hires an assistant specifically for that reason. What I'm saying is that
Why-
Andy was hired as an assistant
I
for
don't know why
Runway
you
to
think
answer
this
Why
phones.
do you think that?
Why do
No.
you think this
They
is
never
not?
said that.
They do. They say you're hired as an assistant for Runway magazine.
No, they
No,
didn't.
you were
They
hired
said
as an
you're
assistant to Miranda Priestly.
I don't know, guys.
Yes.
We're
I'm
beating
just
this
not.
to death.
We are.
No. You don't see an employment contract, a job letter, or nothing. She's referred to as Miranda's second assistant, and that's it. There's nothing that says you are an intern, a literary intern,
Nope.
a journalism intern, nothing like
Nothing
that.
like
Maybe she
that.
wants to use it to propel her career in journalism, but she's not being hired to review and like
All right,
revise
Let's
things.
talk about one of the hot button issues in this, in what Andy's asked to do. I'm not as offended by get my dry cleaning, drop off the book. That's part of like her job duties. Get the coffee.
Wait, but first, I think
Fine.
we need to just say
Yeah.
that because the things that she's doing, which is running errands for your boss, it's not that kind of like independent judgment type of work. Like
That's
like,
gonna exempt you.
that
right.
Yeah, that gets you out of like those overtime laws.
Yes.
So basically, of any potential claim, the claim that she has is that she should have been paid
the
overtime for
strongest
all the extra hours.
claim in the movie.
Right. That
yeah.
was a very roundabout way that we
Yes.
got there.
That we got
But now we can go and zero in on what she's doing as duties because we are maybe divided on whether she should do those duties.
Right.
Okay.
But so I think the one that really stood out for everybody was basically like, get my girls the unpublished new Harry Potter book,
And why
so
is she
they
telling
can
to do
read
this?
it before anybody else.
So before we jump to that, the reason that she tells her to do this is almost retaliatory, right? So Andy's job, part of her job, is to wait for the book. The book is the mock-up of the magazine, and so you wait for it. You bring a revised draft to Miranda's house every single night, and then in the morning, Miranda brings it back to you. The instructions that Andy receives are that you walk into the house, you do not speak to anyone, you put the dry cleaning away, you tiptoe in, you do not breathe, you put the book on the table with the flowers, and you walk right out. Andy comes in, has no idea what door to put
Yeah,
the dry cleaning
unfortunately,
into.
the door across from the hallway, there's two.
Yes.
And then the table with the flowers, there
See,
were
that
three.
that was ridiculous because and my thought would be the table with the flowers in the foyer. Like, if you're not allowed to go into the house, why would you be putting
Yes.
them on
I
a table
agree.
somewhere further
She
into
was
the
stupid.
house?
I
She
agree, that was a
stupid.
little dopey, but
And so
then
Miranda's
her other problem was falling for the twins in their
Yeah,
trickery.
why would you
Have
ever?
never,
like, are you
have you
stupid?
never heard of like twin
yes.
trickery? Like, hello?
basically Miranda's kids are like, oh, you can come up and just give it to us. We'll take it from you, despite the fact that Emily told her, do not speak to anyone. Pretend you don't exist.
Right.
Anyway, she goes upstairs and witnesses Miranda having an argument with her husband. And Miranda's like without makeup. And I mean, it's a very raw, personal moment for Miranda that she does not want her employees to see.
Correct.
And Miranda's pissed. But again, Miranda's not a yeller. And so how does Miranda punish her for this? She comes in the next day. She doesn't even wait for Andy to apologize. Like, she doesn't even want to discuss it. She's going to pretend that this didn't even happen. But I'm going to let you know that I know what you did and I'm really pissed at you. And I'm going to make you get me the unpublished manuscript of Harry Potter Book 7.
Which everyone agrees was such an unbelievable ask that it was
But
impossible.
I mean, I think she was setting her up to be fired.
of
Well,
course.
right?
But also, at-will employee, and just because you're given an impossible task that may end with your termination if you can't complete it, doesn't mean that's legally
So
prohibited.
I'll agree, but let's take it a step further. Was that request asking Andy to do something illegal? It was an unpublished manuscript.
So it's not asking her to do something illegal. It's asking other people to breach their duties and certain contract, like probably certain contracts that they're under,
Sure.
and certain maybe IP. Like, she's
NDAs,
right. She needs to get other people to do that.
which she does.
Which she
She
does.
successfully does.
Like Simon Baker's character, Christian, like, he definitely has breached something. Like, either a
Well,
contract
so
that he's under.
he says
there
that
are
he got
IP
it.
infringement like issues.
So I
here.
don't think it's him that breaches.
No.
I
think it's the illustrator.
So he gets the copy. He says, I have a friend who's the illustrator on book 7, and
Right, it's
she
a
gave
friend.
it to me.
Yeah.
And so she gave it to me, and you have 1 hour with it. The illustrator, this is book 7 at this point, right?
How do you know that?
They talk about it.
Oh,
in
they
book-
said it was
and,
book
oh,
7?
on the
I
cover,
missed
on the
that.
cover
It's a
when
cover.
they're sitting on the
But-
train.
and also, like, let's just remember how hotly anticipated
Yes,
these books were.
of
Yes.
course.
You have to pre-order them
People
months.
stood-
No,
people
you
stood
if you were smart enough, you
offline
would
and they-
you would go to like the
midnight
Pottermore
release, yeah.
website, get yourself on a list.
Okay.
You would have it
And
so
this
that
is-
you get the delivery the morning that it comes out worldwide. It's at your door. I know this because
you
did it.
because I did it with every book when it became available, like that kind of service or that kind of pre-ordering. And I think it might have been book 7. Yes, it was because
Which
it was
one
the
was
summer.
that?
The last one.
Oh, it was
The important one, Deathly Hallows.
Deathly Hallows.
Oh my
okay.
God. It was summer of 2007 that it came out. I know that because my parents planned a trip for me to go to Eastern Europe to see where they were from.
Oh.
And great,
And Dad was like,
wonderful.
"I don't care."
Except I was going to be 3 weeks in Europe with them during the time that this book is coming out.
Oh.
The amount of distress this caused me is
Oh
insane.
my gosh.
And I was like, I'm going to be in Ukraine, in a tiny village in Ukraine.
Where am I
when
going to
this-
get Harry Potter?
And meanwhile, this book is being delivered to my apartment in the East Village. Like, what the hell? And I was so sad and miserable. The day it came out worldwide, we literally walked into like one tiny little rinky-dink bookstore, and I was like, "Do you have Harry Potter?"
And they were
And
like,
she was
yes.
like,
And
she
you
literally said, "I have one copy of it." I was like, "I will take that." pay her anything she wants. I will take
Was
that
it in
copy.
English?
Yeah, she had one English copy.
Oh, wow.
It was in British English, and I was like, I'll take
Whatever.
it.
That's amazing.
I was like, it was the most. I couldn't find face wash for days there, but I found this.
Wow.
And it was the day it came out worldwide. It was amazing. But I know
I'm
it was
impressed,
hard to
Diana.
get those books.
The
Yes.
fact that the illustrator just handed it over to a
That
buddy.
That bothered me a
is-
lot.
And not only did the illustrator hand it over to a buddy of hers, like it left her hands and then it left his hands. And then Andy took it and made copies of it.
And with like the cover art and bound, it was good.
She made copies, like she disseminated it. I mean, that's gotta be illegal.
What?
The fact that she copied it and
Yeah.
then like disseminated
Yeah,
it.
disseminated. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
No,
that,
absolutely.
that is a copyright infringement.
Absolutely.
I remember at the time, even in 2006, thinking, what the hell, man? Like, so many people are getting fired and sued and all sorts of things.
I mean,
Definitely.
technically, it's also like Christian. Like he's also part of this because he's
Yes.
disseminating. It.
Yeah.
He said to her, I remember he said to her, you have 1 hour. Like, she made copies of it and you could put it on the internet in the 1 hour.
I know.
Yes, that one task. But like again,
I think that's the most offensive thing of this movie
But
for
Miranda
me.
making that request, like Miranda made the request. Like the people who actually got it
Carrying
done,
it out.
But what about the fact that she is
making the request.
she's making a request for her to do something that would potentially get her sued?
Well, then it's up to her to say I can't do that. It's going to get me sued. I mean, she's making the request. Like I don't know.
Does that contribute to a toxic work or hostile work environment? My boss told me that if I don't do something illegal, sketchy, morally complicated, I'm going to get fired.
Well, first of all, she doesn't say that you're going to be fired.
No, she says something to the effect of, I can't remember exactly how she words it, but she says something to the effect of, if I don't have it by whatever it is, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock,
Don't bother coming back.
don't
I think
bother
she
coming
said.
back.
Yeah.
Right. So she basically makes it very clear that you are fired.
I mean, I think it's a really weak case that Andy would have. I think anybody on the other side of such an argument would just say, "You're just said no, you can't do that. It's illegal," or it would require me to like breach certain.
You know,
things.
I'm not sure that again, from the 2026 perspective, I'm not sure that it would go away so easily because again, we're talking about a young kid who's straight out of college, right?
Not a young kid. She's like 22.
Still,
She's an adult.
I think that you could very much probably use it as another example of a hostile work environment. And this one I think is
I don't think so.
This one I
It's
think
just,
is
it's
even
not a
more.
particular. There's
I
no
don't know,
particular
because I
class
think it
involved.
gets
It
back
has to be targeted.
So one of the overall arching themes, and one of the things that we argued about, is this tension between Andy and her friends, and
Yeah.
her friend group, and her
Her
boyfriend.
ungrateful
and
friend
they
group.
Awful.
They keep talking
Monsters.
about. She keeps saying, "I had no choice," and they're like, "You absolutely have a choice."
And I just don't think
no
that she
one
did.
is making you do this. You're choosing to do this for whatever your reasons are.
Yeah.
But it's the choice you're making. You can't say that unless you say someone put a gun to your head.
You're
you
right.
can't say you
Yes.
didn't have a choice.
You're right. She
I
had
think
a
the one thing that
choice.
we picked up on was Miranda may encourage certain attitudes and may not discourage the workplace environment, but she's technically not breaking the law by what she's doing.
Correct.
You know, she knows exactly how far she can go.
Yes.
And she says stuff by insinuation. Even
Right.
even when she's going and reviewing the collections before they come out.
It's like whether she
James Holt
purses
is
her
right.
lips.
Whether she shakes her head once or twice, or she
Looks
or
away.
or looks away, and like she's not saying anything.
Miranda doesn't break the law. I
No.
honestly don't think there's anything that she overtly, situation where she
Not
breaks
overtly.
the law. I think she just knows exactly how far she can push the envelope without actually breaking the law. And I
Yeah.
think there's like
I think
respect-
I
Even the
respect there.
major
Respect that.
screwing that she did at the end.
Oh yeah.
Of Nigel.
I think in we'll talk about that in more
Yeah.
detail, but I think in 2026, if an employee came out and said that my boss told me that unless I did this illegal thing or this like ethically immoral thing, I would get fired, I think that would be a huge problem. Again, maybe not necessarily legally or illegally, but I think it's what
No, but
Josh was saying
I think
before.
this is the difference. So either we're going to discuss these from an angle of it's a bad look and she'd get canceled because of
Yeah.
cancel culture. You get, somebody's filming her
But
talking about this.
that's a new thing.
That's
a today
but that's
thing.
not illegal.
It doesn't mean
that's
it's
not legal.
illegal. Right.
Like
Or
if we're talking about legal,
Even a
ramifications.
human resources issue.
For sure, a human resources issue.
Oh, I would say it's a human resources
be,
issue.
like,
I mean,
get, like, a
HR
talking
would
to,
have a
like,
giant
yeah.
headache.
Do you guys remember Scrubs? The show
Yeah, I
Scrubs.
love Scrubs.
I've
Love
been watching
Scrubs.
the reboot.
Are you
right
watching
now.
the reboot?
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
did you see? So you guys everybody remembers Dr. Cox.
Yeah.
and he was so mean.
Yeah.
right. So did you see in the reboot? There's now HR, who's the girl from SNL. I can't think of her name.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
my God.
Everybody knows who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. So she's now HR, and she follows in the first episode. She follows Dr. Cox around, and she.
Oh, no. Oh, you're talking about, you're talking about Vanessa Bayer.
That's the one.
Oh,
Yes.
Vanessa Bayer. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
and she every single time Dr. Cox says something, she literally pops up and she says, "You can't see that." You
I
can't
love
see
that. I love that.
And so this is what I was thinking of, that in
That she needs
2026
a doll?
that she needs a Vanessa Bayer who literally follows her around and says, "You're not allowed to do that anymore." And I bet you they're going to discuss this in part 2. They have to. They can't possibly go into a part 2 and not address.
Oh, I think
this
they
new
have to,
environment.
especially since the teaser that we got
Yes.
is that Andy's trying to rehabilitate her. So something had to have happened.
Yeah, but also
For sure.
Meryl Streep did an interview.
Oh.
And Meryl Streep said that apparently when they were casting all of the like background models and whatever, the girls were so thin that Anne Hathaway actually went to the casting director and said, "We cannot have all of these thin actresses or thin models. Like, we want someone that is actually like size inclusive."
Well,
or
it's actually
whatever."
funny that you say that because I was thinking about that. We go from that culture
Yeah.
back then
Yeah.
to now this sort of like transformation of body positivity.
Yes.
And we're embracing all sizes now.
Yeah.
And there are many more plus size models now that there wouldn't have been back then, but there are now.
Right.
So, yes, that's one of the things I was thinking about is, are you getting away with this attitude of, you have to be skinny? I don't know that it's necessarily the same.
It's
I
not.
still think the high fashion,
Yeah.
you have to look good and be
Yeah.
put together well. And by the way, I have to say, one of my favorite parts of rewatching this were all of Anne Hathaway's really cute, stylish
Really cute
outfits.
looks,
Oh,
and then
I
it's
love
got
it.
the
Popping
bangs.
in and out and all the looks.
No,
and
I love the looks.
loved it.
I will say the
Loved
only other
it.
thing with regard to like her making that request or demand, however you look at it,
Maybe
of
suggestion.
Andy, yeah,
Yeah.
if Andy is going to, like, if we think about it this way, if Andy, if she's liable for, like, let's say any kind of like a bad act on this, and I think there is an argument to be made that, like, yes, it's like trade secrets issues, there's copyright infringement issues.
Infringement, yeah.
Then there's also the idea of like vicarious liability. Then we're falling into vicarious liability
What? Who? Andy?
because she's doing it for her job.
Uh-huh.
Well,
So
you're
the
talking
job-
about the Harry Potter thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So then it becomes like anything that she does that she's being asked to do that's like either illegal or
Skirts the line in some way,
opens yourself
yeah.
to any kind of liability,
Yeah,
civil or
yeah.
otherwise. Then you've got an issue of like vicarious liability because it's being done
doing-
in
it
the
is
course of her
being
hits
a
someone, a pedestrian,
Yeah,
then FedEx
yeah.
is sued, not just a driver.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, then they're always going after the deep pockets anyway, but
Right.
But I get it.
So
The
for that
vicarious
reason, I'd say-
liability,
yeah,
think
she
would make
definitely
For
is
sense.
that
open.
reason, you're out.
No, for that reason, I could see her bearing some liability
having
herself.
some liability.
Miranda herself.
Yeah, because
bearing
she
it.
kind of directed her to do that.
Yes.
But
in terms of like the standards of what size you're supposed to be and what are expected to be or these
Yeah.
little comments, I mean, besides an HR issue, yes, I don't see there being like a successful civil claim being made for it.
Okay. So
also
should
just-
we talk about the James Holt Nigel situation of it all?
Sure.
Okay. So
I mean,
as a
that was one of the
refresher-
bigger betrayals in the movie.
Yeah. So as a refresher, Nigel tells Andy that Miranda put him up for a new job. James Holt is like an up-and-coming designer. He's going global with his brand. He needs someone to be like the director of operations or whatever, CEO of the brand.
His partner,
His
though,
partner,
basically said
yeah.
he's going to be my partner in this new endeavor because some rich financier that Miranda hooked James Holt up with is financing this entire
And
operation.
so Miranda puts Nigel up for the job. And Nigel is very happy about it.
Of course, he's ecstatic.
He's ecstatic because he's finally going to kind of be his own boss.
I
He
kind of
doesn't have to
cried for
answer to
him when he said I could finally have control over my own
Life.
life
I
after
know.
18 years.
Yeah.
So-
18 years of doing
so-
this.
And if he's still with her in the sequel, then now it's
is.
been
I think
38
he is.
years.
Yeah.
We don't know in what capacity yet.
Right.
I don't, but he's definitely, Stanley Tucci's definitely in the next movie.
So that doesn't happen because what we then find out is that Miranda's about to be fired.
And
she's
replaced by
Jacqueline-
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Follet.
From
Yes.
the French Vogue.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jacqueline
Oh,
Follet.
runway.
And
French runway.
and she's got like a strip of gray hair. She's very
Very
stylish
chic.
and
French. Very French.
très chic. Anyway, and Miranda knows this because Miranda knows all.
Of course.
And in order to prevent this from happening, she basically sticks Jacqueline in as James Holt's partner. So that
was
Jacqueline has
interesting
something
because
else to do.
Clearly, Miranda did not direct it, but she made the
She
suggestion.
was the
She
puppeteer.
pulled the strings, whether she
I
suggested
like the way
it,
she does things.
whether she suggested it to James
Respect.
Holt,
Respect.
whether she put the bug in Jacqueline's ear, whatever it was, she pulled the strings enough or put enough
Yes.
Well,
bugs
she
in
then-
people's ears
She then
that
explained
she
it.
changed it around.
She then explained it to Andy in the car afterwards. She said it was such stupid money that Jacqueline couldn't possibly turn it down to be James Holt's partner.
Right.
But also don't forget, she says to the head of Elias Clark, which is the big publishing company that owns Runway, when she's telling all of this to Andy in the car afterwards, she's recapping. She said, and I told Irv that all of these relationships with all of these designers that I built, I'm going to take them with me if you fire me. So she
So
put it
she
right
had
out
her
there.
Yes.
list.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? More power to
Yeah,
her.
that part is,
a
like,
bi-
great.
That I
Say
thought
it.
was great.
I'm gonna walk
it's
with
a
all the people I'm
business
connected to.
conversation. These are my business connections and contact. You're a businessman. You see what you stand to lose. You decide. That's it. You decide.
She's not wrong either.
So Miranda's job is saved, but Nigel gets screwed over because Nigel now does not get this job opportunity.
Right.
So the question that I have for you two lovely ladies is number one, is there some sort of estoppel? And let's explain what estoppel is, but is there some sort of estoppel that Nigel could use either against Miranda and or James Holt himself?
No.
So estoppel is, who wants to explain?
Like,
Go on.
You're stopped from doing
You're
something.
Stopped from doing something.
That's how we used to just explain it to ourselves in law school.
Right.
Halt.
Basically,
I was about to sing. Sorry.
James Holt.
Halt.
Oh,
In the
it's like in Arrested Development.
No,
Steve
it's
Holt.
Stop in the Name of Love.
Shut it. I'm
Wait,
making
what
a-
is it?
I'm making an analogy.
Okay. Basically, the idea is, did he?
You're
Es-
basically
Wait, okay.
rely on-
You are
really?
preventing a person from asserting a
Stopper.
claim,
No, not
right, a
Estoppel.
fact that contradicts their previous
Joshua.
words.
Estoppel. E-S.
No. You're just.
T-O.
It's just a shield. It's a shield to protect someone, like
That's
protect
the
a
one.
party who relied on a representation
Right.
Correct.
to their detriment, like
Correct.
detrimental
To their
reliance.
But what was the detriment? There was
So
no
that's the
detriment.
question.
He didn't give up like his whole
didn't
home.
give up
He didn't like
anything. He
sell
still-
his home so
Nope.
he can go move to LA.
He still got the same job. He lost nothing. So
I
that's
guess
lost out
the
on an
question-
opportunity, but he
Right.
never relied like
there was no
detrimentally
promise. There
on,
was no contract.
Well, I guess that's
signed.
the question. Was there a promise and was there a contract signed? We are led to believe that
No.
there were neither of
It
those
was just
things.
talks.
It was
It was
just talk.
talks.
I mean, he
Whispers.
popped
It
the
was
bottle of
whispers.
champagne.
Right, but he even said like he didn't say it very like openly. He's
Nope.
like, let you in on a secret.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yes. Yep.
So that indicates that there is
It
no
was-
contract yet.
I mean, I think it was very much
Premature.
promised / implied to him
Mm-hmm.
because when Jacqueline Follet is announced as James Holt's new partner, and what's his name, Nigel looks over at James Holt. James Holt is like ashamed. He doesn't want to make eye contact, so he knows he done messed up. You know what I mean? But I guess the question is it because, like, does he not want to make eye contact because he feels bad that he screwed over his potentially who was supposed to be his partner, or because he thinks that he like did something that he could potentially be sued for?
I don't think he could be
I
sued
don't
for
think
anything.
so. I think
I
he
don't
just
think
had
so.
a bit of a
Guilty conscience.
guilty conscience.
yeah.
I think that's it. I don't think there's anything to sue over.
No.
He made a different decision. There's nothing in paper, I'm assuming.
Again, as
if
far
there's
as we know,
nothing in
right.
writing and there's no
assuming,
contract,
but
then who
I don't
cares? He
believe
changed his
there's-
mind.
Yeah, you don't have a breach of contract unless there's an
What
actual
if,
contract.
all
So-
right, what if there was a contract? What if Nigel had already signed a contract that said,
Then it
I'm
depends
James
on the
Holt's
terms
suit?
of the
Right, what it
contract.
was.
There would presumably be some terms in the agreement in case of
The
a
term of
breach.
the agreement, how long you're like at least the initial term.
And what
Right.
the
And
what the
what are-
consequences would be of a breach.
Yes, and what kind of breach is allowed, like, and not breach, like what kind of termination is allowed.
Yeah.
So, like, I can terminate this at any time after you sign it,
Yeah.
then fine, you're in clear.
Right.
But, like, it's a 12-month contract, and after the 12th month, then you can terminate.
Yeah.
Or there's a non-compete
Or-
component of
Yes,
it too,
or you can
and stuff
terminate
like
for
that.
cause,
so that
or
depends.
can you terminate, like, can you terminate at will?
But it's kind of like these conversations, like as a lawyer, right? Don't you have these conversations with people all the
Yes.
time when they're like, well, they did me wrong, I want to sue them. Okay, but what are your damages?
Yeah, right.
Because if you don't have actual damages, what are you suing for?
I mean, and sometimes the
You're not
contract will
going to
actually
get
say, like,
you're not
and
going to
if
get
it's-
compensated
if
for
someone
something
breaches
in a
a
vacuum.
contract,
Yeah.
like, regardless of what damages you've incurred, sometimes it's spelled out in the contract. Like, if someone terminates this agreement before the 12 months is up, then you are paid X amount.
Well, and so part of the other thing that we were talking about, like
In
negligent
the
or
microphone, we were talking
negligent or intentional infliction of emotional distress, how hard that is to prove and put and quantify and put a value and a damages amount on.
Right.
Everyone talks about that. Oh, I was, distressed.
Right.
I'm going to sue for. Do you have any idea how difficult that is? And how do you prove that? And how do you quantify it? And how do you put a dollar value
Right,
on
I
that?
think in this
it's not
case-
as easy as you think. So
Right.
we were talking about the idea of whether Andy would have
Emotional
some kind of a
distress
claim
is
for
extremely
that.
difficult.
But I
as a
don't
claim.
think so either.
It's very hard to get a successful claim for emotional distress. There's negligent infliction of emotional distress, and there's intentional. Intentional,
Yeah.
So intentional, you have to like really have proof that they've intentionally tried to harm you, like mentally, emotionally. So sometimes, like, if you have someone's text to someone else saying, "I'm going to like,"
The only glimmer I can
that's
give
the
you.
kind of evidence you really are looking for.
Yeah.
Negligent is a little easier in terms of the conduct, but harder because now the standard is there has to be some sort of physical manifestation of that emotional distress. So the person has been diagnosed with like severe depression,
Something,
insomnia,
PTSD,
PTSD,
something.
under the care of a psychiatrist.
Right.
There's actually like medical
Right.
records. You need that for the negligent standard. You don't need it for intentional, but intentional to prove it. Like the only time I've seen it work
the
is
only
like
thing
you've
I
seen
can
something
say-
in writing where the person says, "I'm going to like ruin their lives
Yeah.
and have them go out of their mind," kind of thing.
The only thing I can even hint at with Miranda was maybe the stress that she put Andy under to get that Harry Potter manuscript.
But I don't think,
But it was a
enough.
one-off.
Yes,
I don't know that it was enough.
I think it has. to
And
be
it
like
wasn't in
repeated,
writing,
But I
like-
mean, she went through pretty substantial stress trying to get her out of Miami too. I
yeah,
mean,
but
I
that's
think
just like high demands.
yeah,
It's different than
that
high
was,
demands.
that to me was different. Like that.
Your boss having
yeah.
high demands that are almost impossible to
It's
meet
not
is
illegal.
not illegal and does not constitute emotional
It
distress.
sucks, and they're a horrible boss, and I
Yeah.
might not want to.
And it
work
might
for
cause
that
you stress
person.
and emotional distress
Right.
in a practical way. You're
Right.
having emotional distress, but not in a legal way.
I think the fact that there was, again, at least in the movie, that there was just like kind of just a very quick turnaround between, this is going to be my job. Now this is not going to be my job. Like he just didn't really have time to actually rely on it enough for there to have
He didn't
been
make any
issue
changes in his
Estoppel.
life.
Right.
It's a
I mean,
disappointment. That's all.
that's
That's
all.
all.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly he was, but he didn't react really.
Yeah.
And he was basically like, "She'll get me the next time.
My day
or
will come.
something."
My
Yeah,
time will
day
come. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll pay me back. And
I like that attitude. My day will come. And I liked what he said to Andy. Like, I liked his mindset of like, stop feeling sorry for
It
yourself.
was a little
Yeah.
sad though, in
It
a
was
lot of
very
ways, because he was
sad.
very resigned to like, I'm not gonna get anywhere
was very
basically
sad.
without.
I love Stanley Tucci. He
I do
cooks
too.
now.
He does.
He does cook.
and his shows are really good.
I like him.
And as we were talking about before we started filming, he met his current wife on this set because
Emily
he's married
Blunt.
to
Which
Emily
I
Blunt's
didn't know. It's
sister.
I love
so cool.
I
about
do
that.
love Emily Blunt also. We
I
didn't even really
do.
talk much about her.
She's kind of a wench in this movie, honestly.
No, I
it's-
love her in this
I know
movie.
it's hard to get behind her at first, though. I think.
Do you know
like,
that they interviewed like so many different
didn't.
actresses for that? First of all, I also found out that like they interviewed
was this
and
her
were
big
trying.
breakout? Because in
Yes.
my mind,
Yes.
it was.
Yes.
And so
I
they-
didn't really know her
Even
before.
well, the Anne Hathaway, like even for Andy, they had auditioned. Like, there's a few people that they sent scripts to that they wanted, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
I remember reading that somebody else
trying to think of
auditioned for Andy's role, and I can't think of who it was.
I feel like they wanted like
Christina Ricci, maybe?
No, it wasn't
Like
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese
Oh,
Witherspoon? No.
it was,
Christina Applegate.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I think
Christina
so.
Applegate.
I know that
think so.
I think they also like
Christina Applegate, is
reached
that
out to
Did I just make that up? It's possible.
Kate,
I don't know. Did you?
Kate Hudson, and like there's all these people that they were
That's
considering
funny.
for the role, and some people turned it down, and then Anne Hathaway got it. But then for the role of Emily, like they went after so many, like they auditioned so many
many
actresses.
people.
None of them fit, and it was written as an American character, and then.
Oh, Rachel McAdams. I don't know why I said.
Oh, I could see that. She was at a highlight there too. Was that
Yeah.
around the Notebook time?
Yeah, and Mean
right?
Girls was just like a
Mean
year,
Girls
2 years
was-
before this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Emily Blunt was, I guess, about to fly off back to England after like having auditioned for some other stuff that she was trying to do. And someone called her and was like, come in for just this. And she was like on her way to the airport. She goes over, like she's wearing like a sweatshirt and jeans. She just like reads a few lines, and like the director was just like immediately like, this is the person. Like, I
That's
want this person.
fantastic.
And they rewrote the script so that it sounded like using more British terms because it was supposed to be she did the audition using her normal. She didn't have time to work on an American accent
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
And they're like, let's just make her British because I like this girl for it.
We really should touch upon Emily's entire storyline also, because there are a bunch of things there that happen that I think
Yeah.
were very problematic, other than the fact that she clearly just stars herself for the job. Two things that I think we should talk
That's
about.
her own choice.
Yes.
Gotta make
Again,
that clear.
perpetuated by the environment.
Perpetuated by society.
But she loves the environment.
She
Yeah.
She
thrives.
is obsessed. She loves that
So
place.
two things. Number one, she was promised to go to Paris and she doesn't go. And number two, she gets hit by a car in the middle of her workday while running an errand for
That is true.
Miranda.
And Hermes scarves flew everywhere.
Hermes scarves everywhere.
Just raining down upon
Can you imagine? Everyone's like running up. A
Grabbing a
Hermes scarf
scarf?
for you.
Yeah.
An Hermes scarf for you.
Oh my God, I wish. But so that's the interesting one because she does get hurt while on the job,
Yes.
performing duties for the job.
Yes.
I
There
would
is
say
an
that's a
argument of
workers'
whether-
comp claim.
Yes.
Unless, and I have to remember, if she's jaywalking or running a like red light, like
Oh, I think
if
she
her-
was. Because remember, she was Russian.
If her own actions were illegal, and that is the primary reason why she got injured, now it falls outside of the scope, I think, of workers' comp. And
Okay.
Interesting.
I
Even though
think
she
I would
was
say
doing
that she
it
probably was
for-
because she
She
was
was
dodging
rushing,
and
but
weaving.
she was rushing,
in
but
traffic.
she wasn't
yeah.
told jaywalk while you do it.
No,
And
but she
No.
was told, get your ass here now.
so yeah, but
Well, no,
Still.
technically she forgot. Remember, she goes, I was supposed to do it last night and I forgot. And I had her open the store special this morning and now I'm running late. And it was a whole thing. And kabam.
Yes.
Which I was surprised because I forgot that happened.
Yes.
And I went, whoa.
That was like Rachel McAdams in Mean Girls.
I know.
oh, I love
She
that.
gets up by the bus.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one either. That was pretty good.
Yeah. So,
so-
I don't know. I don't.
So
know
that's
if
your
they'd be-
verdict.
My verdict is like I think it's shaky. I think maybe it'd still be a little bit. They'd be a little bit on the hook for it.
Probably.
But her own contributory negligence, essentially,
Interesting.
in that she was jaywalking or
Would
whatever she was
negate
doing.
some of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she got hit. I can't remember now. Was it a cab or was it a car?
I mean, the cab itself.
It was a cab,
Again,
right?
I can't remember.
Well, see, again, I even the
I don't
cab
know.
driver, let's say, or a car, whatever, the driver of the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
also would probably be absolved of any liability
Or
because
at
she
least
ran in
most of
front.
the
Yeah, like
liability.
she
She ran in front of the
True.
she
car.
ran in front of them. Yeah.
True.
Okay.
Interesting.
What about the other thing that I mentioned? What about the fact that she assumes she's going to Paris because she's now the first assistant?
Correct.
Is there some estoppel there? Or is this just part of the job?
No.
She was never promised Paris.
No,
No.
it's not. It's
She
not like
just-
her work. I don't think she's like a contract, like an employment contract says, and you get to go to Paris.
Right.
No.
It's just sort of it's just
Sorry,
the
luck
norm.
of the draw.
It's just the norm that the first assistant goes. But it just so happens that now Andy has become a better assistant than
That's all.
Emily. That's
That's all. No, there's absolutely nothing that she can do
No,
about
I don't
that.
think there's anything
Just
she can
no.
do about
And
it.
no one, there's no one's on the hook for that.
But also, by the way, she was going as like a perk of the job, right? And she was going to actually help and work there, right?
Yes.
Like she wasn't being taken there as a vacation.
You're right.
But then her work product started slipping, right?
Yep.
She forgot the Hermes scarves.
Yep.
She was sick and she couldn't remember
couldn't
the
remember
people's
that person's
names,
name.
right? And Andy had to step in. And so, I don't know. The boss decides that Andy is now better at the job.
Is
and
better
so
suited for this particular task.
That's
And
in her purview to make that decision.
course.
There's nothing Emily can do about that. Like, it is what it is.
It's
For
sort of like if
once.
you are supposed to be working on a trial and then you're supposed to
and then you fuck up.
and you're supposed to be first chair in that for that trial, and then suddenly like
You're
you start-
replaced by
you-
somebody
you're
else. What are
replaced
you
by
gonna
someone
do?
else
That was
because
promised
the
to
partner
me?
decided that
Yeah.
like, you know what, your work has been slipping. I don't trust you to be like the first chair of this
Yeah.
trial. What are you gonna say about
For
it?
the first time in approximately 2.5 years, the three of us all agree.
Wow, look at us. We
Well,
all agree Emily does
That's
not
a-
deserve to go
That
to
is a
Paris.
great
Josh is
note
clapping.
to
Yeah,
wrap
Josh is
this
so happy.
sucker up
On that note, I think we've kind of like exhausted it all.
I think we've exhausted it all. Thank you so much for
Yes.
being with us.
This was fun. It was a
liked
good
it.
movie to rewatch.
a
I
lot
am
of
looking
fun
forward to the new
issues.
one.
Yes, and we'll hopefully come back and be able to ruin that one.
I hope so. I hope they don't I really hope they do it
I
justice.
hope it's not the exact, and I hope it's not the exact same issues. I'd like some new legal issues
Yeah,
to
that would
dive
be
into.
fun. That would be fun. So, what are we giving this in terms of what the stiletto? Like,
How many stilettos? How many Chanel boots?
In terms of like the law that it gets right, I mean, I'm of the opinion that aside from maybe like the wage issue and the Harry Potter,
The Harry
Potter
Potter of it all,
debacle?
yeah.
everything else was
For- it
legally
was-
sound.
yeah.
Whether or not it would be an HR nightmare or whether or not it would be a PR
That's a different
nightmare is a
issue,
different issue.
sure.
But from a legal standpoint, in terms of having like a civil criminal claim,
at least a 7?
I'd say
Seven?
yeah, I was gonna say 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
6, 7.
6, 7.
Oh, no.
And on that
Yeah,
note,
Way to get the
now
Gen
we really
Zers.
ruined everything.
Wow.
Yes. Now we ruined it
and
all.
on that note, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like, follow, and subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts at Let's Ruin It Podcast. And please send us your suggestions. We love to hear from you. And we will see you next time.
Catch you on the next episode. Bye.